Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's dive straight into today's explainer. Today we're taking a super fascinating look at the actual, literal machinery of your thoughts. If you've ever felt completely stuck in a cycle of overthinking, drowning in self-doubt, or honestly just felt like your brain is actively plotting against your own goals, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack the real science of how to break that cycle of negative thinking, and much more importantly, how to actively reprogram your mind so it actually starts working for you. So let's get into it.
So here's the ultimate question we got to answer right out of the gate. Is your mind working for you or against you? Because honestly, it's doing one or the other. There's really no in between. Every single second of every single day, your mind is acting as a filter for your reality. It is constantly sorting through just an immense amount of data and making snap decisions about what you actually get to experience. In this explainer, we're going to learn exactly how you can step in, grab the steering wheel, and actively control that filter.
All right, section 1, the sunglasses effect. Let's talk about your core beliefs. Now, I know the word mindset can sound like a total corporate buzzword, right? But practically speaking, it's just the collection of your deeply held beliefs and opinions about how the world actually works. But here is the absolute most crucial part. It acts exactly like a pair of sunglasses. It's a lens. And this lens dictates not just how you're feeling in any given moment, but what information you actually process and ultimately what actions you take.
Picture this. Imagine putting on these huge, dark, heavy sunglasses that just block out all the light. If that's your mindset, this deeply pessimistic worldview, you filter your entire reality entirely through that darkness. Think about it. You could be at the most perfect, beautiful family wedding, amazing music, fantastic food, gorgeous couple, but those dark glasses, they're going to make you focus exclusively on that one really annoying relative sitting all the way across the room. Now contrast that with rosy sunglasses. Someone wearing these can be sitting in a chaotic, stressful office, dealing with a super rude customer, and they instantly spot possibility. They give people the benefit of the doubt. They just assume good intent. The environment is exactly the same, but the lens completely changes the picture.
And here's why understanding this is absolutely crucial. Your mindset literally determines your actions. A dark mindset, it straight up paralyzes you. If you view the world through a lens that says, well, I don't have enough experience, I can't change careers now, no one's going to hire me, you are never going to bother even updating your resume. I mean, why would you, right? But a rosy mindset, that sparks motivation. When you swap the lens and start thinking, okay, but what if I can actually figure this out? It inspires the real physical actions required to actually change your life.
Moving on to section 2, meet your brain's bouncer. Let's look at the physical filter.
Okay, say hello to the reticular activating system, or the RAS for short. I want you to imagine this live, buzzing, electric hairnet of neurons sitting right over your brain. This network isn't a metaphor, it is a physical, biological filter. In any given nanosecond, it's frantically evaluating all the sensory information around you and deciding what gets a pass into your conscious mind and what gets completely blocked out. Without it, your brain would literally explode from sensory overload. Honestly, the best way to picture your RAS is like a huge, tough bouncer standing right outside the door of a super exclusive, wildly popular nightclub. And life is that busy nightclub. You've got millions of sights, sounds, and smells standing outside in the freezing cold, all trying to get in. But your brain's bouncer holds a very specific VIP guest list. And who gets on that list? Only the thoughts and the things you have personally deemed important, based on where you usually focus your energy.
You know exactly what I'm talking about here. Have you ever decided, hey, I really want to buy a new car, maybe a Ford Bronco? And suddenly, bam, you see Ford Broncos on literally every single street corner? Or maybe you start looking into getting curtain bangs or a specific kind of Birkenstock. Or maybe you decide you want to have a baby, and suddenly pregnant women and babies are just everywhere you look. Look, those things were always there. You just walked right past them yesterday. But the exact second you became interested in them, your bouncer slapped them onto the VIP list and highlighted them for you. Your brain literally rewired itself in real time to show you what you told it was important. Which brings us to section 3, the self-doubt loop. This is how we accidentally block our own wins. Here's the truly painful part about how this works. If you're constantly doubting yourself, you are spending an immense amount of mental energy criticizing yourself, right? Because you spend so much energy on it, your brain's bouncer just assumes, oh, wow, doubting must be super important to us. So the bouncer adjusts the guest list. And suddenly, your brain is actively blocking out the 15 amazing things you did right at work today. It completely ignores the 32 brilliant, successful emails you sent and all those little daily wins. It totally blocks out the good, but it lets in that one single email you sent that had a typo in it. The bouncer literally grabs that one tiny mistake, pulls it to the very front of the line, and escorts it straight into your conscious mind. By obsessing over your doubts, you inadvertently train your own brain to filter out everything that's going right. It just magnifies your flaws and creates this totally exhausting, self-fulfilling prophecy of misery.
Think about a single friend of yours hanging out at a bar. As their friend, your bouncer sees them as smart, loyal, amazing. You look at them and see a total catch. But if your friend's bouncer is heavily programmed with the belief, I'm never going to find somebody, well, all they're going to notice in that entire bar are happy couples holding hands. They won't even see the other fantastic single people standing right next to them. You are both living in the exact same reality, but your bouncers are working off two completely different guest lists.
So, how do we fix this? Section 4, the substitution diet. Time to reset that brain.
Psychologists call this cognitive bias modification, but let's just call it what it really is: a substitution diet. Right now, you are probably running on some seriously outdated negative programming that you picked up way back in middle school or from past bad experiences. This technique is all about catching those default negative thoughts the absolute millisecond they pop up. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I'm totally going to fail at this, and actively, intentionally substituting them with much better, empowering thoughts.
So I've got a wildly powerful mantra for you. What if it all works out? Next time your brain starts doing that horrible spiral thing, obsessing over everything that could possibly go wrong, what if I look stupid? What if they reject me? I want you to immediately substitute it with this. What if it all works out? Because think about it. The thought, what if it fails, literally stops you from even applying for the job. But what if it all works out completely opens up your visual horizon. It tells your bouncer, hey, start looking for opportunities and pathways to make this a success.
Now, hold on a second, because we need to make a really vital distinction here. This is not toxic positivity. We're not talking about just pasting a fake smile over a genuinely terrible situation. And look, we know that just thinking happy thoughts won't magically pay your rent. We aren't ignoring real, heavy, systemic issues, poverty, or deep personal pain. Not at all. What this substitution diet actually does is empower you to face those immense challenges with real resilience. It flips the script from, I'm totally stuck, to, okay, how can I figure this out? And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, the daily heart hunt. Let's train your mind.
All right, this is basically a daily scavenger hunt, and it is so incredibly simple. Here are the steps. Number 1, the second you wake up, explicitly tell your brain's bouncer to go find a naturally occurring heart shape out in the world today. Number 2, just go about your normal day until you spot that shape. Maybe it's floating in the clouds, maybe it's in the foam of your morning latte, a weird rock, or a leaf on the sidewalk. And number 3, when you actually see it, pause, just savor it. Really acknowledge the proof that your brain is actively changing in real time to show you exactly what you commanded it to find.
Think about this number for a second. 10,000. To put that into perspective, there are probably tens of thousands of heart shapes naturally occurring in the physical world around you right this second. It could be a water stain on the concrete, a rip in some denim, the way shadows fall on a brick wall. But yesterday, you walked right past every single one of them. Why? Simply because they weren't important to you. Your bouncer blocked them from your view.
The moment you start playing this little game, a really profound truth hits you. You are the boss of your mind's bouncer. You literally pay its salary. Every single time you spot a heart out there in the wild, it isn't just some cute little coincidence. It is hard, indisputable scientific evidence that you can actively manipulate your own mind's wiring. Because listen, if you can train your brain to find a random shape on a messy sidewalk, you can absolutely train it to find reasons to be confident, reasons to be grateful, and real pathways to achieve your biggest goals.
Which leaves us with one massive final question to ponder today. What are you going to tell your bouncer to look for today? Are you really going to just leave that old, exhausted, negative VIP list sitting at the door? Or are you going to intentionally command your mind to start looking for the good, the possible, and the empowering? You've got the tools, the science is completely on your side, and your brain is just waiting to go to work for you. So take control of that filter today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, you guys. We'll see you next time.